Good morning, grade 10s. How's everyone doing this morning? Can you guys give me a green check mark, please, in Blackboard, and we shall get started this morning. It's hard coming in halfway through the morning where my mind is somewhere else, and now I've got to switch to grade 10, and okay, I can do this. I think I can, right? All right, here we go, you guys. So if you are there, you guys, and apparently my eyesight's bad today too. All right, here we go. Jonah, if you're there, Josh, give me those green check marks. Maddie, that'd be awesome. Perfect. Looks like Eric just got in. Give me those green check marks. I see some of you are still in the live session, but not in my Blackboard yet. So please make sure that you get in Blackboard as well, right, you guys? So, okay, perfect. Thanks, Madison. Right, so I see Kiara, you're in the live room, but you're not in my Blackboard. So can you make sure you're in Blackboard as well? And if you don't know how to do that, just give Miss Wood a call, okay? And she can help you through that. All right, you guys? Good. Looks like Costin got in. Excellent. Thanks, you guys. Who else am I missing in my Blackboard? Jesse, make sure. Oh, no, you are there. Okay, good. Perfect. All right, so let's get started, you guys. Before we can actually go on into a little bit deeper knowledge of our understanding of World War II and the events that took place, okay, I know we've kind of done a broad overview of the events, and we've talked about the significance of those events, right? You guys had to do your ranking. We had to do some critical thinking around which events you thought were the most important and why. And before we can go into a little bit further knowledge into World War II, because what I want to do is, again, I want to switch the lens and I want to use a form of propaganda that's actually still currently used in media today, and that's political cartoons. So we have to take a step back and just look at how do political cartoons work and how are they used, and we need to build up our skill set before we can actually delve back into political cartoons during the World War II era. All right, so we need to practice those skills, and that's what we're going to do today. Okay, so we're going to do some understanding around political cartoons. So here's our agenda today, you guys. So we're going to do the same process as we always do, right? We'll do an introduction. We'll work on our acquiring the knowledge. We'll do some practicing. And then we'll actually apply the knowledge. Now that you've gained that knowledge and you've learned it, how are we going to apply it? We'll go over the assessment and then a quick ticket out the door with our reflection, all right? I don't think I have very many announcements. The only big thing is, you guys, I sent home emails to parents yesterday around work not being completed. So I want to reiterate that with you guys. You need to make sure that you are submitting your assignments on time and in a timely manner. If you do not and you submit them late, please make sure you message me in Moodle. And again, you should be checking your grades on a daily basis, okay, just to see what you guys are missing, all right? So that's really my only announcement. Looking forward to seeing you guys in person at Experience OC tomorrow as well. And I'm sure Mr. Borden already went over everything with that for you guys. All right, so let's get right into it this morning, you guys. Your learning targets are nice and simple this morning. Basically, I can interpret and analyze a political cartoon. That is your only learning target for today. But please notice that there are two terms there, right? That you can interpret, so you can actually understand their meaning and you can understand why, and you can really delve in with that analyzing. Again, it's that critical thinking skill, okay, around political cartoons. So that's where we are heading today. So as an introduction, I have you guys watching a video, okay? So I want you to watch the video first. And all it is a compilation of a specific news broadcast of of a paper, a newspaper, and their weekly editorial political cartoon, and it's just the best of. So all it is, it's going to go through and it's just going to show you a whole bunch of cartoons, okay? So you may be able to pick up on some of the meaning of the cartoons, you might not be able to pick up on others, and that's fine. Then what I want you to do is underneath that, I have, and I'll show you guys, I'll just head so that you're not confused. I'll head to the assignment and show you specifically where I want you to go. So in understanding political cartoons, right, you guys, that's where you're heading. I want you to watch this video. Okay, it's not long. It's just over a minute long, you guys. Then, right, you may have recognized a few aspects, a few characters, right, that sort of thing in the cartoons. But there are specific techniques that are used in political cartooning, and I want to make sure that you guys understand the background of that. So right here where it says Encyclopedia Britannica, this is a link to an article around political cartoons and strategies that are used, techniques that are used in cartooning. So you need to read that article as well, okay? Then what I want you to do is once you're done reading that, you've watched the video, then you're going to read the article, and it's not a long article, you guys, at all, okay? Then I want you to rewatch the video, okay? And see if you can pick up now on the subtle techniques that are used in the cartoons. How many techniques can you identify within the video? Okay, and then we're going to do a share out to the class. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to give you 10 minutes to do this. So you're going to watch the video, read the article, then watch the video again and see how many techniques you can come up with. All right, so you're going to do that for 10 minutes. Come back, give me a green check mark once you are done that process. All right, go ahead and get started, you guys. All right, ladies and gentlemen, remember to give me those green check marks too once you finish the process of watching the video, reading the article, and then watching the video again. All right, just so I know who is finished and who may still need some more time. Costin, I just got your dad's message, so I just private chatted you too as well, so make sure you get my message there. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, hopefully that was enough time to watch the video, read the article, watch the video again. I slowly see the green check marks trickling in here. So Kaylin, let me know when you're done. Connor, good, thanks you guys. Kiara, Costin, Madison, make sure you let me know if you're done that process. So now what I'd like to do is everyone, you should have at least recognized at least one technique that political cartoonists use in their cartoons to get across their message. Cross your fingers. So hopefully, I'm just going to bring up the chat here, you guys. That might be the wrong one. And now I don't know which one's mine. Here we go. Here, this one's mine. Okay, so can you guys give me in the room chat, everybody, try to come up, what is one technique that, that cartoonists use? Just type it straight into the room chat that you recognized. I'm just going to make my chat a little bit bigger here so we can actually see it. There we go. Good, Jesse. Over-exaggeration or just exaggeration is one technique that is used. Absolutely. And it doesn't just have to be bigger. It can be a small exaggeration as well. People can go smaller, right? So remember that. But exaggeration is one technique. Absolutely. And not only to use eye-catching, but also really to relate to, so that the reader or the person looking at the political cartoon knows who the character is. So you'll see, like, for example, right on my PowerPoint, I've got the screen capture of Donald Trump and Kanye West, right? Donald Trump, his hair is always over-exaggerated because that's what he's really known for, is his comb over, right? That's one. You'll notice too that Obama, if you guys ever look at some political cartoons of the past, Barack Obama, his ears are really big. That's one of the things that they over-exaggerate so that you know that it's Barack Obama, okay? Yeah, absolutely, leads. So there's references to pop culture. There's going to be references to history. Absolutely. And yeah, absolutely. And that sometimes can be used through symbolism. It can be used through irony, like all those things, right? Josh, great one. Labeling is a huge technique to really make it clear to the reader or the audience of what is happening in the cartoon, right? Absolutely, Kiara, that's the whole point of a political cartoon, right? Is to hopefully, even though we're talking about politics and it could be on a world stage and a world event that is happening, they do still want you to get a laugh out of it. They still are, it still is considered a cartoon, right? They want it to be funny. Yeah, absolutely. And Madison, for sure, opinions are very much a part of the political cartoon genre, okay? Absolutely. And a good point with that, Madison, is the whole point of political cartoons, you guys, when they first started evolving, it was for people who were illiterate and couldn't read the newspaper. So they included cartoons or pictures and images so that people who couldn't read could still be informed on the information that was happening in the world or in their city or in their town, in their country, that sort of thing. So that's actually how political cartoons evolved. All right. Thank you guys. Now, you're going to learn a little bit more now on the actual techniques that are used. So if I head back to my slideshow here, you guys. So now's the time where we start building up our knowledge. We're going to acquire our knowledge, okay? So we got a little bit of a taste, right? We saw that there was exaggeration, labeling, right? We caught on to those two techniques. But there are some other ones that may not have been so specific to you guys, okay? Another one that ties in with labeling is captions. And that is what's found sometimes underneath a cartoon, you guys. So labels are found within cartoons, and they could have labels on a building or label on people. But the caption is usually found underneath a cartoon. And usually it can be a quote, it can be a sentence, and it just helps explain a little bit deeper as to what's happening in the scenario, okay? We talked about labels, so those are words in the drawing to express the thought and identity of either people or objects, okay? The exaggeration, this is that relative size, right? Figures can be drawn either much larger or much smaller than others, and sometimes it doesn't even have to be whole figures, right? It can be parts of body parts or whatever it is, right? That sort of thing. Another technique is what is called caricature. And this is a distorted or oversimplified or exaggerated representation of a figure or of a person, right? So when you look at, say, the caricature of Donald Trump that is drawn, right? Then we talk about the exaggeration of his hair, right? Usually he's got a really crumpled up face and it's usually larger than his body, right? That sort of thing. That's what a caricature is. A lot of cartoonists use light and dark, okay? So a lot of shading might go on to really symbolize the difference or the rift between two things. So that's another technique that artists use. Another one is composition, and that's the arrangement or locations of people, things, that sort of things in the cartoon, right? Are they further in the background? Or are they in the forefront of the cartoon? Then the last one is symbolism, and that's usually a sign or an object that represents something else. We've talked about symbolism before in English, right? And we've talked about that idea of representing something with an object, okay? And that's really used in cartoons quite a bit, all right? Now, there are a few other techniques, you guys, as well, and you're gonna get into those in the next aspect of acquiring the knowledge. But a few examples of, and this information, you guys, that I'm quickly showing you is also in the assignment for your reference, okay? So you'll also notice that there's symbols of nations, okay? So if we're really talking about international events that are occurring, which we will be doing, right, when we get into the World War II and we start looking at some political cartoons during that era, there's lots of different symbols that nations can be symbolized with, right? So for example, Canada can be represented as a beaver, right? Because that's our national animal. You know, our Canadian flag, a Mountie, like an RCMP officer, right? That sort of thing. For Britain, it can be a bulldog, a lion. The USA is usually in historical cartoons represented as Uncle Sam. Okay, that's our big one. Maybe like the Statue of Liberty might be another symbol that the US is represented from. Okay, so you guys can see that all the different countries there have different symbols. And this is going to be a really good reference for you guys to go back to periodically as we look at political cartoons and start analyzing them. All right. So now, just to get your mind, to introduce you to a few more different techniques, but also to get you now looking at a few different cartoons. Now, I wouldn't worry too much about the actual content of these cartoons that we're going to be looking at right now. All right, that's not what I'm worried about. What I'm worried about is, can you pick out the symbolism? Can you pick out the labels? Can you pick out that sort of thing? So what I found was just a fun little interactive political cartoon site. So in the link, you guys, in the assignment, again, it's big and it's blue and it's bold, and I think I called it the Political Cartoon Challenge. If you head there right now and walk yourself through, there's 4 cartoons. So the first cartoon is practice, and I believe that's the one that I took a screen capture of here and took on and put on my PowerPoint. Okay, so the techniques that this website is looking at is symbolism, exaggeration, labeling, and then they're going to introduce 2 new ones to you: analogy and irony. Okay, and we've looked at irony again in English, right? But this is a nice way of you guys looking at it through a political cartoon lens, through a historical critical thinking lens. So the first cartoon, okay, you guys, is just the sample. You get to click on the techniques and it's going to show you where in the cartoon they're used and how it's used, okay? Then the next 3 cartoons, you get to practice. You get to click and drag where you think those techniques are used in the cartoon. Okay, and it tells you right away if you're wrong. And don't worry, this isn't for marks. This is just for practice. All right. So I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes to go play around on that website and go through those 4 cartoons. All right, and then we'll come back, we'll reconvene, and we will move on to the next aspect. All right. So go ahead and get started on that, you guys. All right, come on back, you guys. Give me those green check marks in Blackboard to let me know that you are back and listening. And I'm hoping that by the end, by that third or fourth cartoon, you kind of had those techniques down and could easily recognize what the author or the cartoonist was trying to portray using that technique. All right. So sometimes it is kind of hard to recognize what's going on in a political cartoon if you don't know the background, right? So sometimes you do have to do a little bit of research on the topic that it is, that it's talking about. But I'm hoping that this time, this was solely, I was just trying to focus on the techniques, you guys. But now what we're going to do is apply that knowledge. And I don't want to move on though until everyone's given me that green check mark so I know that I've got everyone's attention. So Kaylin, Eric, Jeremy, Costin, if you're there, give me those green check marks, you guys, so that I know we can move on here. Perfect. All right. So now's the time you've practiced. You are now fully aware of the techniques that are used by cartoonists. Okay. What I've done is I've chosen a couple of cartoons, a little bit more recent cartoons, and I'm hoping that you will be able to figure out these cartoons. You might have to do a little bit of research, okay, to figure them out, but I'm hoping that you don't have to do a lot. I'm hoping. So we'll see. I want you to look at the following cartoons, okay, you guys? And then just in a Word document on your own, I've also opened up the online text box. So if you do want to use an online text box, feel free to do that as well, you guys, in the assignment. Doesn't matter to me, whatever's easiest for you guys. And I just want you to outline what each of these cartoons are about. So what is the political cartoonist trying to portray? What message is he trying to get across? And then what techniques, how does he or she accomplish that within the cartoon? How do you know what the characters are, right? That sort of thing, okay? So really try to identify the different techniques to analyze the cartoon. So basically what I'm asking you guys to do is to analyze and interpret these two cartoons that I've put into the assignment for you. All right, so like I said, you may have to do a little bit of extra research to figure out maybe the event that it's referring to, or you may have to figure out who the people are that are in the cartoons, but that's where your research skills come in as well. All right, so that is basically, you guys, your job today. Now, I haven't gone in and looked at the discussion forum where we've posted our worksheets from a couple classes ago. Haven't looked at how many people have handed in their rankings of the 10 most significant events of World War II. I'm going to actually head back to my office right now because this is basically the end of the live classroom. You now have about 45 minutes, you guys, to finish off this assignment with political cartoons, and then go back and make sure that all your other assignments are complete and done for social studies. All right. So this is where I'm going to say goodbye on the live classroom. You have to stay in Blackboard though. Okay. I am going to be chatting with you guys in Blackboard once I get back to my office. Do not leave Blackboard. All right. So we'll give me 5-10 minutes to get back to my office, you guys. You have lots of work to do on this assignment, and we will see you back in Blackboard in a few. All right? Bye, guys.